Well, let's move on to the big story of the day. And this is in relation to the National Assembly, as this Thursday voted to reduce the publication period of Election Laws Amendment Bill 2017 from 14 days to 1 day. 144 MPs voted in support of the procedural motion, while 53 voted against the motion, which elicited heated debate between Jubilee and NASA legislators. Majority Leader Aidan Duale said that they are merely reducing the time so that they can dispense with the matter once and for all, even as Kiminini Member of Parliament Chris Wamalwa alleged there was something fishy in the manner the bill is being rushed.
Members of Parliament. Article +1 paragraph A of the Constitution of Kenya, the President of Gazette Notice number 8877.
Let me begin by apologizing for my our traditions. You gave notice of this very sitting to all.
Well, let's head straight to Parliament, where we have our reporter, Patrick Amimo, who joins us live from there. And perhaps, Patrick, looking at these particular amendments, what were some of the reactions of members of Parliament, and what is their end game towards this?
Thank you, Abby. These particular amendments by the Jubilee side to both houses has really raised a lot of concern from the opposition, NASA, who claim that it's inappropriate to introduce the amendments at this time when the country is only remaining with about 26 days to the October 26th election for the fresh presidential election. We've seen that part of the amendments in this particular law, they are very keen to ensure that Article 44A of the Elections Act is done away with or is deleted, and instead they are introducing that electronic, manual transmission of results and also the manual identification of voters. So this is a provision that we saw last year between June and September, when this particular matter was, during that time when the Parliament established a joint select committee involving 7 members from the Senate and 7 from the National Assembly to discuss IEBC reforms. Electronic voting was one of the major inputs into this particular law that informed the Election Act. And the reason why this was so is that when we had Kenya witnessed post-election violence in 2007, then just a former South African judge, Kriegler, said that the Kenyan laws, due to the manual arrangement, it was not very easy to know who had won that election at that particular time, and also there were claims of ballot stuffing. So it was thought that with the electronic system to identify voters, then it will not be very easy to have ghost voters on the poll register, because that time, like in 2013, the IEBC register had 3 registers, and it was very difficult to know from which poll register that was used to allow voters to get to allow voters to vote. And that time we saw the opposition then claim that about 2 million votes could not be accounted for the presidential election. But now this particular provision has been introduced. They seek to amend that and ensure that where electronic fails to transmit the results, then manual, they should fall back to the manual transmission. That's as a superior method, where we now see the returning officers and presiding officers trooping to the constituencies, and also the National Tallying Center in Nairobi, like for this particular case, Bomas of Kenya, to file their, to bring the papers to the National Returning Officer. But another thing also that has been introduced in this particular amendment is to do with electronic transmission of results. In case it fails, then they are saying that the manual transmission should prevail, and 2, you cannot the court cannot invalidate the results by the fact that they were not transmitted electronically. So should IEBC decide to relay all the results manually, then and there's a party that feels that it cannot, that was done ultra-vires, then it means that the court cannot, if the law is passed, then they'll not have any recourse to compel IEBC to transmit those results electronically. The other amendment, especially with the Election Offences Act, is to do with the use of state resources and advertising the government, because it's indicated when the NASA went to the Supreme Court, they did say that Jubilee was using state resources, and it had come up with the government portal, the government delivery portal, where the government's achievements were being advertised. As they said, this was against the law, the Election Offences Act, and so there is an amendment to that effect, which will delete that section that did criminalize the use of state resources and the government advertising its projects in the run-up to the election, because the opposition feels that is unfair. But now the Jubilee side argues that it's part of the right to information, and they are quoting that Article 35 of our Constitution on the Freedom of Information Act to say that's why they want that. They've deleted that section, which can now allow the government to do its adverts on the projects they've done and also continue with those particular activities that try to campaign for what is done over the years during the election period. It's something that we'll see the opposition side did walk out of Parliament, and they said that they do not accept that. Already we've seen the National Assembly has come up with a select committee of 9 members, all from the Jubilee side. The opposition is yet to provide their list of members to that particular select committee, and this particular matter, because NASA said they will not be providing the list. And just if I do a quick read through, among these members in the select committee to look at the election laws and the Election Offences Act is William Cheptumo, there's Gladys Chepkosgei Bos, Isaac Waihenya Ndirangu, Ali Wario, Jennifer Shamala, Haji Yusuf, Gitonga Moraguru, and Stanley Mudhama, and Alice Mudhomi Wahome. We expect the National Assembly and Senate to break for 11 days until October 10th, when they resume the sessions, and that time then maybe these laws will be ripe for the second reading and debate by members of both houses. Agina?
Thanks, Mimo, for that detailed update. Of course, we shall be looking forward to more unfolding information that you shall be sharing with us as we progress with our bulletin.